Long before history wrote down its wars, two great lands shared one world. There was the Kingdom of Water, a realm of calm rivers and quiet wisdom, where peace flowed freely. And then there was the Kingdom of War, a land of unyielding strength, where power was the only law and might alone decided one's fate. These two worlds, divided by their very beliefs, were nonetheless bound together by destiny. In the Kingdom of War, on a night filled with the roar of thunder and the flash of fire, a child was born. They named him Omi. Even as a boy, his eyes held a strange, deep silence, a knowing sadness that no one in his loud world could understand. While other children sparred and trained for battle, Omi often stood apart. He wasn't weak. He was just different. Meanwhile, across the great river lived Tammy, a daughter of the serene Kingdom of Water. Where Omi was quiet, she laughed. Where the people of war fought, she healed. She firmly believed that true strength didn't come from the cold steel of a sword, but from the warmth of the human heart. And though she didn't know it yet, her belief was about to change the course of history forever. Fate, it seems, has its own designs. It brought these two children together at the Forbidden River, the one place they were never meant to be. Curious and unaware of the crowns and kingdoms that defined them, they met in that simple, stolen moment, with no titles or expectations, just two young souls connecting for the first time. A bond was forged. It was a bond so pure and strong that neither of their worlds could ever hope to control it. Time, as it always does, moved forward, pushing them down separate roads. Omi was molded into a warrior, his days filled with the clang of steel and the strategies of battle. Tammy, in her peaceful kingdom, studied the arts of healing and diplomacy, learning the ways of peace. Their paths diverged, pulling them physically apart, but their hearts remained stubbornly connected. A quiet love blossomed between them, a secret garden in a world preparing for conflict. But as their love grew, so did the fear surrounding it, and destiny, the silent observer, simply watched and waited for its moment as the world around them shifted. New powers rose to prominence. From the Kingdom of Water came Prince Aquilus, calm, thoughtful, and a true believer in balance and harmony. From the Kingdom of War emerged Prince Varkan, proud, aggressive, and consumed by a hunger for absolute power. Both of these princes had their eyes fixed on Omi. Aquilus saw in him a spark of hope, a bridge between their two worlds. Varkan, however, saw only a threat, a weakness in the armor of his kingdom. When Omi and Tammy could no longer hide their feelings, when they finally spoke their truth to the world, the two kingdoms trembled. Their love was instantly labeled as a weakness. Their dream of peace was condemned as an act of betrayal. The idea of a marriage between them wasn't seen as a chance for unity, but as a declaration of war. The pressure was immense, the warnings dire, and yet, against the judgment of their entire world, they chose each other. Against every single warning, Omi and Tammy were married. On that historic day, two hearts stood together as one, while two powerful kingdoms stood utterly divided. It was a defiant act of love, and for a fleeting, beautiful moment, hope was alive. It felt as if anything was possible. But love, especially a love so revolutionary, often comes with consequences. The Kingdom of Water, guided by Tammy's wisdom and Omi's quiet strength, began to flourish in new ways, embracing an era of profound peace. The Kingdom of War, however, fueled by Varkan's pride and the people's growing fear, burned hotter and more fiercely than ever before. Crowds in one kingdom cheered for their newfound unity. Crowds in the other wept for what they saw as a great betrayal. The world wasn't splitting along a river anymore. It was fracturing along lines of belief. And then the inevitable happened. Varkan, choosing power over peace, made his move. Swords were drawn, armies marched, villages that had known peace for generations were set ablaze, and families were torn apart by the sudden, brutal violence. In the chaos that followed, Omi lost everything. He lost his claim to the throne. He lost the kingdom he had tried to protect. and most tragically, he lost the very peace he and Tammy had dreamed of building together. The war took its final, devastating toll. Queen Tammy fell. She wasn't struck down by a warrior's blade in the heat of battle. Instead, she was crushed by the immense weight of a world that simply refused to accept peace. Her heart, so full of hope, couldn't bear the hatred that consumed their lands. Omi survived the war, but survival felt less like a victory and more like a cruel punishment. He was left alone in the ashes of their dream. After that, people stopped calling him prince. The title no longer fit the man he had become. Instead, a new name emerged, whispered in taverns and shouted in the streets. They called him Omi, the Survivor. He was the man who had lost everything: his love, his home, his purpose, and yet he refused to let the darkness consume him. He refused to become the evil that had taken so much from him. He was scarred, broken, and haunted by loss, but through it all, he still chose love. History has a way of remembering the grand battles, the clash of armies, and the names of conquerors. But legends, the stories that truly last, remember the hearts that beat within those epic tales. They remember the choices made not for power, but for love. And Omi, the boy from the land of war, chose love even after it was ripped away from him. Sometimes, surviving is the bravest victory of all. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe for more.